As the world population is expected to rise to an estimated 9 billion people by 2050, genetically modified crops, or GM, is one way in which supporters believe we could increase UK food production to feed all these extra people.
I'm doubtful that GM is going to deliver anything of value to me as a farmer for two main reasons. One, it's a dated technology now. It's being superseded by biotechnology as it evolves, and also because the British public are really clear that they don't want to see it in the human food chain, that they have real concerns about GM and they don't think the benefits outweigh the risks.
Can you explain the wheat trials that are going on at Rothamsted at the moment?
Yes, we've initiated a GM trial in order to test out a very new idea. The idea is to copy what happens naturally with a lot of other plants and non-crop plants. In fact, what we've done is copied what members of the mint family do, and they release a volatile chemical called a terpene, and this terpene is actually a signal to aphids which tells the aphids that there is some kind of distress in the area. So we call it the aphid alarm pheromone. When they pick up this signal, they go elsewhere. So they basically fly away and find another plant to land on. So what we've done is to take the genes from mint and incorporate those into wheat and ask the question, can we deter the insects from landing on the plant? So in fact, it's not insecticidal. It doesn't actually kill the insect. It's more like a no parking sign that's put on the leaves of the plant.
And why do you think that people are so against genetically modified food?
I think that goes back to the beginning. But even today, we're talking about a wheat that has been modified against aphids, but using a synthetic gene that is very similar to a cow. So again, we've got this nasty mixture of genes being introduced into a plant that is going to create concern naturally amongst the greater public and those who are going to eat the product and give it to their children. It's not surprising that people are concerned about this. What we need is to see this technology developing so that it enhances our existing conventional breeding programs, brings these products and these beneficial traits to market quickly so we as farmers can bring them onto our farms, and then we can start to address the twin challenges of feeding an increasing population and at the same time looking after the environment and the countryside.
And what are you actually hoping to see in the field trial, and how long do you think it'll be before you see some results? Okay,
now the field trial is very interesting for two different reasons. One is because, as I said, the pheromone that's released, this volatile signal, will deter aphids from landing on the plant, but it actually does have a secondary effect, and that is the same signal is a signal to predator insects like ladybirds that normally come along and feed off aphids. And so what we will actually be measuring is not only the number of aphids that land on the plants and stay on the plants, but also how much do we recruit the natural parasitoids and predators that would live off the aphids, because they're the ones that really do the cleanup work for any aphids that get through the screen.
And what do you think that the industry could do, if anything, to sort of improve the public's perception of GM and farmers' perception as well? What would make you more likely to use a GM product?
Well, first of all, bring forward something that actually works, delivers what it wants, and then we as farmers, the public, might look at that and decide, yes, that has got a future. At the moment, there's no sign of anything like that coming forward, certainly with anything with a GM label on. But I think also what's happening is we're seeing developments within biotechnology where products are being labelled as GM, but they're not really GM. What they are is part of an accelerated breeding program that most of us would say is acceptable, with a few caveats, of course. But then that helps us bring forward products to the farm and into the marketplace. But having said that, I think as farmers, particularly as farmers, we need to be very careful over the concentration of ownership of genes and varieties in the marketplace. At the moment we've got quite a diverse marketplace and no one's got overall control, but certainly if you look at the American seed market, it is now virtually impossible to buy non-GM seeds in parts of America. That then is cutting down the farmer's choice as to how the crops they can choose to grow, how they choose to grow it, and it's cutting down the consumer's choice in what kind of foods they can buy. That is a situation that I think is very, very worrying, and something that as farmers we really need to avoid. And we can avoid that. Ultimately, we buy the product, and if we don't exercise our buying power to ensure a diverse range of crops and types of crop for us to grow, then it's going to be our fault when we're shut down to just the choice of one or two.
What opportunities do you think GM could bring to the UK?
I think if you think of agriculture as having a series of tools and technologies that you can bring to bear in order to make more productive or more sustainable agriculture, then GM is one of the tools in the toolbox. It's not a one-size-fits-all, and it's certainly not a panacea, but there are many occasions where we could solve a problem using a GM technology which would be vastly quicker than any way we could deal with it. The most obvious one for me for wheat farmers would be blackgrass, and the blackgrass problem absolutely is a soluble problem, but it would probably take a GM approach to do it.